creeping through the shadows.
Hello and welcome back to Forge of Champions 3, the third qualifier in this 4-qualifier series. Tournament. There we go, got my words out. That's Jake Hitframe Matthews, and joining me here on the Gutter desk is Ty Kelter, Tiger Brennan once again, and Dan Orcs Harrison. Hey, that was a pretty explosive game.
Yeah, it felt like, I mean, the first tower went down at 6 minutes. That's usually an indicator of a bad game for the team who lose that tower.
Yeah.
And then it was just rotations from there, and we talked about how XL's composition, they didn't necessarily want a team fight. The only time a team fight really occurred was when Barrage forced it, but they were so far behind, it didn't really go well. And then XL just had the control. They set up, they looked for objectives, they took the objectives.
Barrage were effectively forced to force plays.
Yeah.
So Barrage were already so far behind from the way the lanes had gone that they decided, okay, we have to start forcing plays as all our pick. So they got a few picks onto Sendo. Just didn't matter because he wasn't the one sieging the early game. It was the Caitlyn Morgana and the Taliyah who were causing the massive amounts of issues really quickly. And because they weren't able to pick those off because of Black Shield in the early game and then later on just good positioning, it just quickly snowballed out of control.
I think that game is definitely one where Barrage just want to wipe it clean from the, wipe that slate clean. It was an unlucky start to the game. They just lost control of it and they couldn't get their hands back on the game.
Corrupt the VODs.
So that one, it's just, okay, that was just a big old mess. Let's look towards game 2. Let's bounce back with a clean mental and see what we can do this time. Because even if they do lose this game, if they lose this game in a more kind of convincing fashion where they've been able to hold on, you know, they've been able to challenge XL, that's better. That's a better mental. If this is another 22-minute stomp with a pentakill, like at that point you have to start going, okay, what's wrong here? Yeah. Why did that go so wrong?
Well, I mean, you saw the bot lane before that first tower was taken. They were forcing a lot of summoners 2v2 against Venza and Quickset. And I think if you get them a good, strong bot lane and cut away the Morgana, I think they have a lot more potential. I mean, even if Quickset ends up going to something safe like a Tahm Kench, it's not as much of an issue because just the pressure they had. You saw, as soon as the binding landed, that was it. It was like the lane was almost over. I think they should really look at getting rid of that and then see what they can get their bot lane on the hands of. And then it's a difficult one because when the game starts to fall away so quickly, you don't have much information to go off. Yeah. It's like, you know, you really, from that 6-minute point when you lost the bot tower, that's when the game was a bit out of control. So it's like, well, we have to stop that from happening. But then it might get to 10 minutes and you realize there's another problem that occurs. But, I mean, you fix a 6-minute problem, but not the 10-minute and so on.
Yeah, I mean, like, looking back on some of the other things that have been picked up in the UK scene, they could probably default back to Braum Lucian as well.
Yep.
And based on the way XL played, I think they still win that lane. And then it's still a massive worry for Barrage. Can you get that winning bot lane? And then from there, can you actually use it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be loading through into Picks Mans just a second. So are we expecting to see any changes? Do you reckon Barrage this time are going to look to go for a more engage-heavy team? We've had the Morgana, the Swain, the Taliyah, the Aurelion Sol, and the Zoe taken away so far.
Yeah, I think the Morgana ban makes a lot of sense. It really cut down on the effectiveness on the Zyra Khan that was prioritized so much. It hasn't actually been touched. And Barrage not actually deciding to go towards it, picking up that Camille. This is an interesting one because when they were on blue side against Bulldogs, they picked Rakan as in to secure that Zyra Khan bot lane. So interesting to see whether XL prioritize it themselves or they've
left Aatrox up.
Ooh, okay.
That's where I'm looking for XL. XL know this, and previously what Barrage have done is they picked Poppy into it. Poppy's banned. Maybe Camille is their go-to into that, or they're picking that for the jungle. Currently they're flexing that pick, so it's yet to be decided from XL how they want to respond.
Yeah, I don't think Governor is the sort of person to play an Aatrox or Camille, so I
you could
feel
leave
like,
it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the problem is that you know that is most likely a jungle Camille, and this is the issue. It's one of the reasons Camille is such a good pick is you can, although it is a vague one, you can flex it to an extent, but Barrage aren't able to do that. You know that's a jungle Camille, and then instantly Taxa wants to answer back with the Kindred, which obviously means if the Camille dives in, it's very hard to pick someone out.
I want to focus on this Yasuo that just got locked in for the side of XL. Could see that go top lane for Sendo. Most likely going to see Rippy play it mid. That's typically where
you see it. Go bot lane, but Venza's
so
more
flexible.
Standard.
Yeah.
Venza has played Yasuo bot in this series against Enclave, our last best of 5 that we had. So there's viability to go there, and that's why it's such a great pick at this point. It is a flex pick. There's no real way you can necessarily counter it in lane right now.
Well, going to be the Alistair lock in for Barrage, and they're looking to round out their first pick phase with, what are we expecting to see here? An ADC, probably, and then something like that? Or what are you expecting?
I think it's a really weird one because they haven't prioritized the Zyricon, which I've constantly been doing. So it suggests to me that maybe the reason they're doing that is they don't want to pick an AD carry now.
Sorry,
They
what?
could be proving me wrong.
What were you saying, sorry?
I mean, it's just an interesting decision. I guess from the perspective of it gives them a bit more safety on the Tristana, but it's something Barrage have consistently gone for that Zyricon. They've opted not to. They picked up 2 champions in that second rotation. Clearly they thought the Zyricon wasn't working. For me, the problem with it was the lane they were up against.
Well, XL looking to lock in their final pick. And that will be the Aatrox getting picked up by XL. It's kind of too good to get.
I mean, it would definitely have been banned in ban phase 2 if they left it up that long, so smart to just get it now, because you can see Quickseth was considering the Quickseth Thresh, which is pretty well known for being really good in the engage and just a generally well-practiced Thresh player, so definitely an option if that doesn't get banned away in this phase.
Well, let's see what will be banned away in this phase, as XL will be starting it out. They're going to be banning away the Fiora. I thought that was going to be a lot quicker.
Fiora functions well as a counter into Aatrox. I've seen it played against it, and it does well in lane. I don't think it's something that Governor would necessarily play. I think they'll probably ban Ornn now because Braum's been banned away. But from the direction XL's composition is going, Yasuo and Aatrox really sets up for a good 1-3-1. You can play safely with the Kindred. If you do engage onto a Kindred, it takes so much more time to take them out because of the Kindred ult. So I could understand them wanting to go in that direction. So Fiora as a counter that makes a lot of sense, getting rid of that. And they get rid of the Sandal, which is a bit confusing to me to leave that Ornn open. But I guess they're just not scared of it. Well, Aatrox does have a good
Aatrox
matchup.
just destroy it in lane, and we've seen that Sendo is really happy when he can just destroy the lane.
That's a fair one.
And looking to have the same effect this game now on a champion pretty much designed to do that.
The question is he going to be more aggressive this time? You know, he's kind of overstaying in lanes, but this time I guess he does have the World Ender, so he can always revive.
The champion's basically designed to just sit in lane and destroy anyone who shows up.
Okay.
So I think he'll probably just continue to overstay.
Yeah.
And hope to just turn those plays.
Hope 2 life bars is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Quickstep will get his hands on the Thresh. So, you know, you're talking about how that's kind of one of his practice champions. You know, this is what we know him for. Going to get his hands on that, and we still don't know exactly where this Yasuo is going. It could go bot lane, it could go mid still. I mean, we could still technically have Rippy play the Aatrox mid as well.
Yep.
That's still open option.
Yeah, and that's why it was important to pick up the Thresh here, so you have that flexibility. The big thing about this Thresh as well is you can really punish the Tristana. You can flare out of a rocket jump. There's so much potential to outplay, and Jackamas going to have to be playing really well to avoid that.
You have to remember this is actually banned away from him last time, the Nidalee. So potentially something Taxer didn't want to play into, but I guess after that first game has decided he has the confidence to do so. And Talon was also banned last game, could be picked up. A lot of jungle pressure now.
Nidalee and Talon get picked up by Barrage. This time they're going, okay, we're not going for team fights. We just want to burst people out really, really quick.
And this is an interesting one because you talked about Governor was someone who would mostly play tanks, and he has opted to go for the Camille here. So added something to his arsenal, potentially saved it for this, you know, 1-0 down situation against XL. He's busting out the Camille to go up against, presumably when this Vlad gets locked in, Sendo's Aatrox.
I think this is one of the things you got to keep in mind about Governor is, you know, we talk about how he's this top lane tank player, but he has occasionally pulled out the carries, and he hasn't always had a terrible showing on them. It's not like he's a bad carry player. He might not be quite as strong as someone like Sendo is on the Yasuo, but he's still not a bad carry player. Now, I want to keep my eyes on exactly where that Yasuo is going. It looks like it's going to be pretty standard. So the Vladimir and the Thresh go in bot lane, and then you have the Yasuo mid and the Aatrox top.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. I think Aatrox does well in a long lane because he has so much CC and a lot of distance you can close. You still just decent into Talon. If Talon gets on top of you, obviously you might struggle, but you have window to Pokemon early, and your wind wall is just huge in those trades. And then Vlad, it's just fairly safe to scale up bot lane. And the thing is, you're playing against a Tristana, so there's a lot of threat onto that back line later on if Vlad does find the ability to land an ult and empowered Q on that Tristana. I mean, anyone across the course of Barrage. Barrage have a very squishy composition, and there's a lot of kill potential and dive on the side of XL.
I also like that Benzer's moved away from the TP here, going toward that Ghost. We've seen a move away from TP in the bot lane at the very least, since all the changes to TP came through. Well, I guess the big change being that the cooldown shot up to 6 minutes. Now if you're putting a bot lane, better off going for more of those snowbally combat summoners, and Ghost just so strong in Vlad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, movement speed is the biggest thing for Vladimir. If he gets on top of a target in a team fight, he does so much damage. It's just getting there, and particularly when there is a mobile team you're playing up against, it's a good asset to have.
I want to ask a little bit about the Talon versus Yasuo. What are we expecting here? Because, you know, Talon typically has a very powerful level 2 and a very powerful level 6. And it's kind of, if he messes up that level 2, then it's done. And if he messes up that level 6, it's also kind of done. What are we expecting really to see here?
I wouldn't even be surprised to see Nidalee try to land a spear around the level 2 mark. Just run from her camp to see if you can just quickly snowball ahead in that matchup. Because that's what you want when you draft Talon with an aggressive jungler. You want to just be constantly invading, especially post level 2 when you pick up the Assassin's Path.
I mean, that's the thing, is that you see a lot of level 2 ganks coming out in this meta. You could easily pick up red, head straight towards mid, and I think jungle priority is going to be a huge thing. Both of these mid laners are melee range. If the jungler has an impact in the lane, it will swing the matchup massively. As for in terms of power spikes, yeah, Talon does good at level 2, Yasuo also does good at level 2, but I feel like he might want to wait for his level 3 wind wall before he can really, because it essentially removes one of Talon's abilities. A big thing is, though, at level 6, if Yasuo can stack up his tornadoes, if he can dash to his minions, he can hold out against the Talon. But if you find him in the river by himself, or if you manage to get the jump on him and he hasn't got his tornado stacked up, he is very vulnerable to burst and all in from Talon.
Is this the patch, or is this coming up? The patch where they reduced the return damage on the Rake by Talon, or is that 8.15? So has had obviously a little bit of a nerf, because that was one of his key things. He, at level 2, he landed 2 parts of the Rake and then he just face queued you, and that was it. Yeah, I mean,
part of the reasoning behind that was to reduce his wave clear, but what happens now with most Talons is they take Tiamat anyway, and that still clears the minions with Rake. So honestly, not the worst nerf, but yes, it does slightly reduce that level 2 power spike.
And I think that's the thing, is that if you give the Talon the ability to shove in mid, if Nidalee provides a little bit of pressure, they don't even have to necessarily kill Rippy. If they force his flash, if they just pressure him and chunk him out a bit, Talon can then shove and roam, and consistently do that once he has a lead. And I think we should, you know, that's what Barrage should look to do. Unlock that Talon, get him to roam the rest of the map, and then if you can get your Tristana and your Camille to late game, you have a real chance at this one.
We'll have to see exactly what that's going to happen. Obviously, you know, you guys are hitting on jungle and mid. That is where we're paying our attention to. That's where you guys think this game will be decided. You've got to keep our eyes on top as well. You know, it's the Aatrox versus the Camille. How does this matchup work up?
Yeah,
what are we expecting here?
I mean, I'd go back and say jungle and mid from Barrage is how they win.
Okay.
On Excel's side, you do have many more options. On the side, you, of course, have this Aatrox who, as you asked, it's a really strong matchup for Aatrox coming in. Camille is one of the few matchups that has some safety into it because the E isn't actually cancelable in the first instance. So as long as you see those Qs coming in, you can just throw out the E, see if you can get away before the knockup really hurts.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues, though, is just a sustain difference, especially when TP is such a long cooldown. If a bad trade comes through for Governor in the top lane, he'll have to recall. If he burns TP, he becomes very vulnerable. And Camille's don't normally get sustain until they've completed their second item when they get a Ravenous Hydra. Whereas on the other side, with the Aatrox, he gets sustain in his kit. So even if a trade goes slightly unfavorable, he can just heal up off the minions. And to be honest, in the early game, he's probably not going to take trades too unfavorably.
Yeah, and generally when Camille wants sustain early, you throw out the W, you try to hit the champions with the outer half. That's in Aatrox's Q range. So you're walking into exactly where Aatrox wants you, just to try get some sustain back. So as Dan said, it pretty much just forces them out.
Well, do let us know on the Twitter using the hashtag ForgeOfChampions3 who you think has this game. Are there going to be any plays? Are there going to be more pentakills? We want to hear what you guys have to say. I mean,
he has Aatrox. Pentakills are definitely on the
there's also a Yasuo. So many champions who can just pop off this game.
I thought they were going to go Galio Yasuo and just go the giant 5-man knockups.
When they were hovering it, I was like, it's coming. It's happening.
That's how they turned the series against Enclave.
Yeah.
So I was actually somewhat expecting that, and then they turned it around with, again, a pretty good pick in Vlad. I guess he also wants to be in the running for potential pentakills.
Yeah, the problem is you can't send the Galio bot lane, and they were really looking for a bot lane at that point, so they had to go for the Vladimir. But we are loading through onto the Summoners Rift for the second game of the day. This is obviously once again XL taking on Barrage, and XL match point up in this game. There's a fly on our screen.
Yep. Are you sure that's not in game?
Oh,
there
that'd be
he
the
is.
worst.
Look at him go. He's left. All right, cool.
He's actually just on top of the TV now.
Yeah,
Just can't
he's-
see him on screen.
He's a big League of Legends fan. What can I say? What can I say?
No shenanigans coming out level 1 this time.
There he
So Barrage already doing better this game.
is. Yeah, having a pretty decent showing so far. Does look like, for the moment, he is actually getting shoved a little bit by Rippy, sorry.
Yeah, but you can tell once Aatrox hits that level 2 and gets the built-in sustain with E, it just won't matter, because one set of Qs and that's the fight just so quickly turned.
Oh, Rippy just getting a little bit of a trade-off. Is obviously running that Conqueror versus Seb, who's running the Electric Heat. So, you know, the quick in and out from Rippy will always give him the advantage over Seb, because Seb wants to hit that free ability combo if he actually really wants to get the damage to burst.
Yeah. I mean, that matchup can be very volatile, and Rippy's decided that he's going to get the better of it with the Ignite, but okay. Bot lane.
Quickstep's been ignited. They've got himself the explosive on top as well. Jakamaka taking a little bit of damage from Venza on the return, though. Quickstep running very, very low, just looking to heal up with those pots for the moment. And Venza still level 1, still doesn't really have that damage to boot.
Yeah, and I mean, didn't even force any summoners from Quickstep, just going to be able to heal up with the pots, so really nice for them, and it means that the bot lane from XL still have engage options as they scale into this next part of the laning phase.
Governor does use the hookshot to actually avoid a bit of damage, but in comes Taxa. Quickstep flashes forward, misses the death sentence. They're going to be able to make their way out.
That was some fancy feat there by Bardiono to dodge out. Quickstep's flash forced, which is a lot of their presence in the lane. So now Barrage going to be able to play a little bit further up if they want to.
You're obviously seeing Zorky just get himself his red buff. He's only just
Not
hit
his red
level
buff.
3. Oh, the enemy red buff. I couldn't even say red buff there. Left.
Nice invade, and now moving towards top side. Pressuring the Aatrox early is basically your best chance, because once he hits that level 6, you have to go through 2 health bars, and it gives the other jungler a lot of time to respond, ignoring anything else about it.
You do have to keep in mind, Taxa was actually able to get both of the Scuttle Crabs as well. So he's actually pretty comfortable right now, even though he has been invaded and he's now moving into a part of the map which he has nothing to get. There is nothing there. And looks like Zorky actually hanging around for the moment.
Yeah, still, only 2 CS behind the Kindred. It's not the worst. Have to be very careful though, because it's Talon who's roamed into the jungle.
Oh, Taxa hasn't actually been spotted out quite yet, and in comes Seb with that Assassin's Path. He's looking to go over the wall. Now Sendo maybe needs to make his way towards his jungler, but Governor actually just getting turned on. Infernal Chains pulled him in place, and Sendo flashes forward for first blood.
In the meantime, it was actually Kindred got away from that play as well, so well played on that side from XL. Now it's 2 people top. They want to dive Aatrox.
That's a big, big wave, and there is no Yasuo. Spear's going to go a little bit wide, looking to put that damage out. In comes the teleport, and Seb will be able to return a kill onto Sendo.
Now that the TP started.
He loses a big wave as well.
Yep, is the TP there. So Camille just going to push in super hard there. And Sendo going to TP back to that tower as well.
It should be able to catch quite a lot of that wave still. Did lose a massive amount though. See how much CS he's going to be able to pull himself back with, as he has got that Kindle gem on his first back, so couldn't even afford the Phage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. You get some CDR with that as well, so more Qs coming down. The base damage on it is, even post nerfs, is still pretty ridiculous. So, not the worst back in the world for him.
And I mean, now that we do see Barrage have made that play topside, as Taxa actually headbutt pulverized up. In comes Rippy though, gets some wind wall down to block out Zorky's damage, but he is running very, very low, and Zorky able to get himself a kill. Knockup has been charged, but no last breath available to Rippy quite yet. And now Barrage, they're making the proactive plays, and this time they're not being punished by XL.
Much stronger early game, and it all comes down to how you have the jungle and mid roaming around. In the early game, as you expected, you saw Talon make that roam up towards the top side where they got the play. Slight misplay in the top side from Governor, deciding to go too far in onto Sendo and actually flashing within the W as well, dragging him back. So
yeah,
yes, that cost them first blood, but so far it's still been quite well played by Barrage as a team.
I mean, I really want to actually have a look at these junglers' current levels. I mean, Zorky just hit level 5, Taxa's level 3 on the Kindred. Really having a hard time, struggling to keep himself relevant, as he is actually going to be able to pick himself up his mark and the Scuttle Crab. So again, I want to play, let's see how many marks the Kindred's got. So hopefully production can show us that, as Sendo taking himself a pretty aggressive trade versus Governor.
To be fair to Taxa though, this is relatively expected in this matchup, but we'll come back to that after the replay of the topside fight. So You can have a quick look here. The Qs start to come down onto Governor, and here's where the big mistakes come in. So the W comes out and he actually flashes within it and gets dragged back to the center, and that means that Sendo's just already won that play at the point.
Obviously does get returned onto Seb's able to pick himself up a kill. Now Sendo goes in with a hook shot underneath the tower, so gets a bit of damage down. Blood pool out by Venza, pulls him back. Death Sentence comes out as well, but Venza still ignited, so that heal wasn't too big for him.
It was Ignite used though.
Yeah.
So not too bad for them. And a lot of movement speed for Vlad now with the Zork shoes, but okay, Zorky.
Zorky's looking to try and make this 1v1 happen, but has got the backup. There's going to be a two-man sweet spot. World ended by Sendo. Means he's just so quick. Hextech Ultimatum will force him to get popped, and now Zorky is going to look to hop forward. Sendo needs to make a miracle play happen, but Seb is on the way with the Assassin's Path, and Governor is gifted the kill.
And that's why Talon is so difficult to play against, but
he just turns into a little puddle. Great hook, though, by Quickstep. They do have that Hemo Plague available. No, they don't. He's only level 5. Jackamak is ignited, and that will be him falling down. Venza able to pick himself up a kill, and the cow is on the menu. It's going to be stake for the side of XL as 4 members make their way bot side, and that'll be a kill onto Taxa.
And I really like this from XL. Yes, you can't respond to how much pressure the Talon and Nidalee do. So just go to the other side of the map, see if you can make a play there. And it was helped by the fact that Barrage decided to go aggressive, knowing they had zero ability to respond with any other players. So once XL go in, very hard for them to do much about it.
Struggling a little bit there now. Venza able to pull himself ahead a little bit in CS, although Jackamaka will be able to catch this wave and pretty much equalize that score out, as Venza now has his Hemo Plague, so this is going to be key. Any more fights with Breakdown, massive amount of healing available to him, and Rippy actually not really had the start we expected on the Yasuo, you know. Just 0-0-1, 1 assist and name. He's got himself the attack speed boots as well, so he hasn't even got his Zeal yet.
Well, you have to remember, all Talon's trying to do is to somewhat push in the wave and then just go roam, even in some cases not pushing in the wave, which is why you're seeing him fall a little bit behind in terms of CS. I think Rippy's doing what he can, and now might be punished for it, though.
Yeah, 3 members coming through. Does have that knock-up available. Couple of tower shots going down, but not going to be enough to actually get themselves a kill onto Rippy, and he's going to be able to walk away.
I think this is fine. All XL need to do now is slow down every lane but top lane.
Great win wall by Rippy, and you did see Governor just took 2 sweet spots in the row by Sendo. Now Taxa and Zorky just contesting over vision control, as Taxa actually wants to try and deny him a little bit. Not able to do so.
Yeah, and you have to remember, while Barrage have had a much stronger early game, they're still very slightly behind because the side lanes from XL are pretty far ahead. So that's evened out the gold and actually left XL with a lot of options left open.
Oh, Rippy is getting engaged onto. That's going to be the Shadow Assault by Seb to go invisible to make sure he gets out AOK, but it's going to be his major damage dealing ultimate down.
Yep. And that's fine for them. Again, reducing Talon's options, really important, because you want to reduce how effective he is in these roams once he does leave lane.
Infernal Chains actually connect onto Governor, but Sendo doesn't actually have the Dark and Blades available yet. Just uses full combo.
You can see, though, the CS difference, the amount of zoning that Aatrox can do, even when put slightly behind, it just doesn't matter.
Sendo's actually built himself 2 longswords, so maybe he's going into that Death Stance fairly early. Not building towards the Phage quite yet, maybe.
It's definitely possible. I mean, potentially deciding that there's very little armor being built by a Camille.
Yeah.
So decides that just the flat damage from Death Stance will do him a bit more favors.
A lot of top laners really like this on Aatrox as well. The Death Stance just gives you such a massive boost of damage.
And just sustain. It makes you so much harder to kill just because of its passive as well. There's a lot of reasons it's good in Aatrox.
Barrage don't realise they're on a ward. In comes the headbutt Pulverize, but it's instantly flayed away. Flash forward, looking to get a kill onto Quickstep as he's flashing back. Going to throw a lot of damage out with the box as well. Now they're turning around as the Hemo Plague's there. Venza is going to be able to pick this kill up, and it's stake on the menu. No, he's able to flash out, but Venza goes after him, and he's able to pick himself up a kill.
Really solid turnaround there from them.
Sendo's World Ender, by the way. He could just dive.
I think he's just aware that Camille can just E away, and then it's all wasted.
Has to go for this, right? Governor hook shots out.
You can just leave.
Right.
You can sustain it off. That's still Aatrox having a win there. And from there, he has the TP advantage in most cases, as long as he can continue to zone the Camille. This should give them enough time to take the Infernal Drake.
Well, Infernal Drake is getting started up. It's actually going to reset as the spears come down. Zorky maybe looking for the play, but instantly into the last breath, into the damage, and Quickstep is able to get a kill. Now Sendo trying to recall, gets pulled up in the ultimate, and he is going to be forced to resurrect, but Seb is there, does have that Shadow Assault available as well, and Seb goes 2-0 on the Talon.
Again, it's pretty much the opposite of what XL did previously by forcing the play bot when the play was forced top. They know they've lost the Infernal Drake, send your Talon up top, see if you can pick something.
Not the game we saw from Sendo. Last game, he's 1-3 on the Aatrox.
This
like
is almost
I said,
exactly the game we saw from him, actually. He went slightly behind at the start and then picked up a Penta.
yeah, he got first blood as well, which he did in this game as well. So
it's actually surprisingly similar.
So are you calling that Sendo gets the second Penta?
I mean, he's got the champion for it, which is what I said at the start, and right now he still has all the pressure he wants in lane. Uh-oh,
Rippy's ignited, Shadow Assault's there, the knockout comes through, and we're stuck looking at something else.
Whoa.
You're not even there.
Yeah. I think they turned it.
He lived.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
He
Seb died.
Yeah.
Oh, that's depressing.
There was the knockup, it just landed. Taxer was just going to get 1 or 2 more autos off. Well, you got to see me instead, so was it really a loss?
Where was I?
Yeah.
That's the question. I'm
Mystery
standing in front
caster.
of the desk.
Well,
My mum said don't ever stand too close to the TV, you'll get square eyes, but I'm breaking that rule right now.
I also don't think that's medically accurate. I've
No.
yet to see anyone with square eye syndrome.
No, me neither.
I feel like that's what you'd call it. I feel like just
square
describe
eye
what you
syndrome.
see. Yeah.
Let's call it a weird shaped skull.
Yeah, you'd have to change the whole bone structure,
Well,
but okay.
looks like Governor actually going in with a hook shot. There is no World Ender available to Sendo, but there is a Lance Respite from Taxa. This XL lineup are pretty hard to kill, but Sendo going forward once again with a Darkened Blade, and Zorky and Governor very, very low.
Yeah, Governor got very close there to dying just before he managed to make it out of range. I think the Lamb's Respite almost dragged Sendo back further than he would have played, but what it does mean is that neither side goes down. And again, that's probably fine for XL because they're still winning that lane.
Yeah, I think they're pretty content right now. So bot lane pushing in. CS relatively even. We haven't talked too much about that quite yet. So we are going to have a little replay of the Dragon.
Yeah, and you see that the spear actually landed, so they slow it down. Gets knocked up by a really nice combo. And then here comes the other side of the map where Seb just picks up the kill.
Yeah, I mean, World Ender buys you a little bit of time, but not enough time as Seb was full health. Governor was far too healthy
It
as well.
buys you time, it doesn't buy you numbers. And he was heavily outnumbered there. And uh-oh, speaking of which.
Yeah, Yorkie actually just getting turned onto. Sendo able to get himself a kill. Now he's 2-3 on the Aatrox.
Is Camille going to walk up to the safe play? Okay, no.
No,
Camille
imagine.
started walking up and then realized, oh, they're still here. Okay.
Governor chasing him, but just forcing him away, just zoning him off the minions. And considering it's 124 CS to 77 CS, yes, Sendo's died a few times in lane. He's ahead for the moment, and Governor looking to go in with that hook shot onto Sendo. Going to put that damage out. As in comes Seb, does obviously have his World Ender to make sure he's alive, and Taxa comes over the wall. Seb with the ultimate tries to bail out, and Sendo just going to be able to walk away.
So annoying. They had him caught, and then out jumps Talon. Well played from Seb to find pretty much the only option out of there. And just about escape. So XL, they don't get first tower this early, but it's probably still fine for them. They could just restart here. They're looking to get at bot lane as well. So both side lane towers being heavily pressured.
Well, Rippy hasn't even got his Phantom Dancer yet. We're 15 minutes in, and now at this point, we're used to so many of XL just having multiple items at this point.
Yeah. And I mean, it's taken over double the time for them to get first tower. So that's definitely a win for Barrage. Part of it, I definitely think, is Barrage's comp is a lot better in the early game. But it's also just they played to their comp a lot better. Like, XL have tried to force many plays. A lot have been successful, but Barrage managed to secure themselves a few as well. I would definitely credit Seb in securing Barrage so far, as much of the game as they've gotten.
I think the man on your screen right now,
on.
the man on your screen right now has also done a good job on the map to make sure that he pressures Sendo as much as possible. Even looking to get himself a Rift Herald, which Taxa is going to be unable to answer out, and his mark is completely on the other side of the map. He's pinging out that he's heading over there. Oh no, sorry, that's Nidalee. But first turret blood will fall to XL, and they've got themselves a 27k to 23k lead.
Yeah, and solo gold actually handed over to Venzer as well. Vlad does a lot with relatively quickly with items and then just continues to spike. Would like to see if they go for the Spellbinder here next. And that'll quickly become a problem for them, but now it's all of Barrage having moved towards this top side.
Well, they've put the Rift Tower down here, so they're looking to answer out equally for turrets as Excel on the other side of the map also able to take themselves one turret. But you think of Vladimir doesn't quite take turrets as quick as the Tristan with a Rift Herald can. And Sendo actually is going to pop that world, and it looks like a fight might break out. Sendo very, very low, starting to resurrect up, and a great wind will zone them away. Oh, knockup comes down, and it is instantly answered out as Texas able to get himself one. It's going to be just the one and the turret going very, very low. And XL do peel away.
Yeah, and I mean, while they did get that extra Rift Herald charge, they probably had to back up at that point, because playing that far forward into an Aatrox, and most importantly there, a really nice Yasuo knockup meant that Alistar was picked up relatively easily by XL.
Oh, we're seeing them still continue to go forward. Seb very, very low. Protobelt into the death sentence, and Seb will get shut down by Quickstep, who is 2-0-3 on the Thresh.
Yeah, and you're seeing why he's known for his Thresh plays. These hooks have been really, really nice. And just a quick follow-up as well is pretty much why they're winning bot lane.
Well, we do see the turret in the mid lane fall, and the Mountain Drake is spawning up. It's going to be a Mountain and an Infernal. The first two Drakes in this game, and XL, you think are in a pretty good position to contest this and take it.
Yeah, and actually, instead of going for the Spellbinder, it looks like Vlad's just going to skip straight ahead and go for the Rabadons. Try hard spike extremely quickly.
Oh, Rippy actually does get spotted out, trying to recall away, so not going to be able to base yet. As he does that. Oh no, he doesn't.
Okay.
That turret's very, very low topside.
A bit of stand and go. Come on, they were just backing. Yeah, Kindred's backing and just asking for that little bit of extra gold. But not going to be secured quite yet. The Death Stance has been finished, though, by Sendo.
Look topside.
So much harder to kill.
Actually might have a bit of action breaking out as Zorky is on his way over. Seb pops himself the Ghost Blade, looking to turn onto Venza. Venza just forced to use the pull. And Quickstep's there to make sure he's A-okay.
Yeah. On the other side, what you need right now is Grievous Wounds, because you're playing into Aatrox Vlad. They're just going to heal up so much in the center of a fight. You need something to try counter that, but instead they're going to try and make a play.
Yep, looks like they're going to throw everything out. Seb's forced to flash out. Ignite is on, and now can they turn the place?
How do you get the
Quickstep
auto?
flashes
No.
forward. In comes Governor. Quickstep's very, very low. So is Venza. 4 members as XL are starting to fall apart. Hero Blade lands on the 2, and Taxa comes in with a clutch ultimate. Sendo gets 1. It's a 2-man knockup, and it means absolutely squat as XL flatten Barrage.
And now it's Jakamaka, going to be the next focus. Should be a pickup.
Nice and easy. He is burning down. Rippy even flashes, and it's a double kill for Taxa. Zorky needs to run towards the turret, but it looks like XL are still hot on his heels, hot on the chase. The cat will be able to get out.
Oh, almost picks it up.
So
Not quite.
close.
I'm surprised they didn't just run up, because that tower is about 2 autos with Aatrox tanking. Probably just run up and take that now topside as well, but decide to move away from it.
Rippy's come in and gets himself a knock-up into the last breath, and Seb, with the Assassin's Path, actually makes his way out. He's being chased down, but he is going to be out okay. Now the teleport's coming in, the Governor maybe looking to turn onto Rippy, but an incredible hook means absolutely nothing. Venza! That was beautiful.
Quickset's just destroying people with these
to hold
hooks.
our
Beautifully done. In there,
Another
even more.
engage. Venza actually is going through. Oh, that was so close. Sendo maybe wants to commit, doesn't have World Ender, but it looks like Barrage chasing forward. Venza flashes forward, gets headbutt pulverized up, and he's ignited. A great Lantern means he will be out. And Barrage don't quite punish yet, but Sendo, this team is not done.
They're not. And they're just picking up another tower in the top lane. That one finally gets the wave pushed in after Aatrox proxied it.
Okay, they're all
I think we can
recalling.
calm down.
We can all breathe.
That was an excellent set of plays for XL. They managed to pick up one fight and then just quickly snowball into more and more kills. Let's look at this first one. So you get the jump on from Barrage. Immediately, it's a nice hook to start it and try cancel it out. And that was a lot of really quick damage coming down from Barrage because they slightly overextend from XL. However, Quickset, really well-timed stopwatch, and in comes Taxer with another perfectly timed ability in that Lamb's Respite. And then it just immediately guarantees them 2 kills while Sendo zones off the rest of the team effectively by himself.
And they couldn't turn to Sendo as well because he had World Ender on, so he was just immortal. Every member of XL could not die in that play, and it's just super, super well played from them. Zorky is able to get out from there.
And this comes back to what we've always said about XL. They know how to execute on their team comps, and you saw that perfectly in that fight. You see the Lamb's Respite, you see Quickseth turning fights, you see Venzer even using the pool really well, while Sendo just zones.
I've seen the Hurricane build on the Kindred. I've never seen the Phantom Dancer build.
It's actually really nice when you're up against Assassins as well. You get one auto in, you've just reduced their damage. On top of Red Smite, it actually becomes really difficult to actually assassinate this Kindred, on top of the fact you now have Lamb's Respite following it up.
Well, there you go. Educational stream for you. Black Cleaver and
I
Death's
analyze on
Dance
occasion.
have been picked up by Sendo. It's actually the Jaggarum's Fist, so it looks like Rippy actually not going towards that 100% crit quite yet. He wants to pick himself up. The Sterex Gauge wants that little bit of survivability in these fights.
That's actually really common, especially into more assassin-based matchups, because new Infinity Edge isn't the most amazing of power spikes anymore. It's worth kind of putting off to make sure you can just survive fights early on, but okay.
Looks like they're changing it. That's going to be the Ghost. Venzer stepping forward. Hook's going to go wide. Great flare. Seb now uses out the ultimate. He's going to go out with the Assassin's Pass, but can the Hemo Plague pop him actually? Great heal up by Zorky means he is going to be able to walk out, but in comes the chase. In comes the World Ender. Sendo chasing forward, looking for Governor now. They're turning it a run into the knockup. Throws out the ultimate, but it's not going to be enough for him to stay alive. Sendo picks him up, and Zorky now is trying to run away, and the turret will be the focus, but Taxa, he's not done. He's looking for Jakamaka. He's looking for the cow. He's looking for Steak as the hook comes down. Infernal Chains, and he gets popped out of his own ultimate, but it's not going to do absolutely anything for him as Barantino falls down. Sendo goes 5 and 3 on the Aatrox.
Yeah, and Vardiona's had some really unfortunate runs with the Alistair. Trying to be in the engage for a team that's behind is always difficult, but especially when XL have been so good at counters.
Looking to go 1v1, but actually, I don't know if he wants any of that. What was that, Venzer?
Yeah, ow! that's about the only response you get to that. Now, this is going to be another ow.
Yeah, he's ignited. He is on the run, and it looks like Taxa chasing him down. Actually, the Ignite Burn might be enough to kill him. Actually, not going to be the case, as Rippy has the charge, has the knock-up. Not going to land it. And that will be an inhibitor dropping down at 23 minutes.
And that was what it looks like when Vlad managed to get his Rabadons this early in the game.
That was still running away. He actually has the damage to turn this, but he does have to worry about the fact that Taxa's on his way up. Does actually land that spear, heals himself up, maybe wants to go for the play. Quickseth trying to predict these hooks out, and it looks like this time,
there it is.
Zorky, sorry mate, you're not going to live for long.
And that's the stack, saved up for Taxer. You know, Quickseth could have 1v1'd him, but he was just holding off.
6 stacks, by the way. He's on 6 stacks on the Kindred at 23 minutes.
It's not bad. It's alright.
It's pretty good.
Let's just watch this again.
So good.
I don't even think you need to give it a commentary, because just look at the combo.
Look at this. Everyone just... Oof.
There's actually an auto in there as well.
I hate Vladimir so much.
The auto meant that electrocute propped in that last Q, and I'm not even sure it was necessary at that point. That was a lot of damage, and he's actually followed up with the Medjais. He's followed up with the Medjais. Why not?
I mean, yeah, whatever, man. Starix finished up on Rippy as well, so now he'll build towards that Infinity Edge, and he'll hit a massive power spike at that point. You got an Infernal trait, you got a Mountain trait, you got the mid lane inhibitor down. XL, it wasn't quite as dominant early, but they've been able to come back nice at this point.
I mean, they did only give 4 kills, and again, it's the same weakness that was exposed by Virage previously. It was 3 onto Sendo. You can force that from XL, which is something that other teams might be looking at going forward.
Yeah.
However, in the case of Virage, the other lanes are going too well for XL for that to really matter.
See what the play will be for XL, whether or not they just want to close out the game or if they're going to play it by the books and start to take more objectives, more turrets. So for now, tension is going to be on the tier 2 in the top side. And it looks like Virage not able to actually defend out for the moment.
Yeah, one more fight is at least Baron, maybe more. So Virage should be very careful about giving up anything, really.
You need to be very, very careful as Drake is spawning in 15 seconds as well. I believe that's going to be the Cloud Drake. And Jakamaka, you know, he's sitting on a Zeal and a Stormrazor. His damage isn't quite there as Venzer forced to use the Blood Pool.
Actually, I think he was just trying to one-shot Camille. Almost did.
Well, he got a lot of damage.
does mean there's no fight coming out
Oh.
from Barrage just yet.
I think you're wrong about that, because Rippy just goes on a tear. Zorky falls down. It's going to be the Hemo Plague by Venza as well. And Sendo trying to make a play happen. The three-man headbutt Pulverize does not buy anything for them as Seb answers out one, but everybody else starts to fall down. Jakamaka trying to heal up. World Ender for Sendo has now worn down. Governor will be the next to fall. He's running so low, and they're going in. Venza with a blood pool. They're chasing for absolutely everybody on top of the fountain. Jakamaka stays alive, but Quickset flashes forward, misses out the death sentence. Knock up. Rippy does not have ultimate, and it looks like now the Nexus will be the focus. The Nexus turrets are also the focus. Sendo almost goes down. Rippy flashes forward. They're just playing with their food. Come on, XL, you're looking for the 2-0 here over Barrage, and they are trying to get some more kills. They're trying to get some glory. Knock up damage, everything.
There it
and
is.
Venza deletes Jakamaka. Nexus falls at 26 minutes, and XL 2-0 over Barrage.
It's not as perfectly clean as that first game, but
No.
still XL very much in the driver's seat for, I'd say, at least 90% of that game. You did have Barrage with a decent early game. The Talon Nidalee played into that quite well, and then it just fell apart from them because while they'd forced a lot of plays top lane, Aatrox was still winning because they'd left Aatrox open.
I think the decision making early from Barrage was a lot better this game. I think they can walk away with the heads held high on that front. But XL, you know, it's a tough matchup for them. You really can't blame them too much for this one. You know, XL are the top team currently in the standings. They've always been a very dominant team for the last few seasons as well. And you're just seeing it really come alive here.
I think it's a good way of exploiting your own mistakes and learning your limitations. Because when you play against a team like XL, I'm sure Barrage went into this and thought, you know, low chance we win this. Let's just do the best we can. And yeah, that first game they got absolutely rolled. And this game, they lasted a bit longer. We said like that 6-minute mark, losing that first bot tower, that was where things really started to fall apart. But in game 2, they did have a bit more life.
Then answer to the first turret blood.
Yeah,
XL
exactly.
took the first turret, but they answered on the top side, so at least they traded objectives.
Yeah, a bit more life, and I think that's the sort of thing is that, yes, they didn't make it through any further, but they've made it to the round of 8, which I haven't been able to do previously. They've had a series against a tough team, and they showed improvement. And I think the thing is, if you go back and you look over that and you go, look, this is where they exploited us, this is where we could get better, use that for the 4th 4G Champions tournament, then...
They've got points. Yeah,
They've
that's
got
the
them
big
under the
thing
belt.
for them.
Yeah,
exactly. They need to get the points. They want to make this top 8 so they can make it through to the finals. So, yeah, I think they're feeling very good with themselves. As you can hear sounds in your ears. Listen to the sound of League of Legends and farming. I think that's meant to be a replay.
It will be at some point.
It will be.
I believe.
There it goes. Now it's music. I haven't
Kinda
checked.
chill.
You've been walking around the studio while we've been casting the last 2 games. Has anyone answered anything about the turtles or the?
I think you might have blown their minds too much.
What was the other one?
The Scent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down. I do have. Yep. Sorry, where was it? Jake's an idiot. Yep.
There we are.
Yep.
Cool. Good times. Good times.
Yes,
Just
I
to
know.
note that Dan is a big old liar because he wrote down nothing.
It was a blank page.
It was a blank
Because he can't
page.
spell because he is an idiot.
I'm actually blind. I can't.
You
Why are
actually
you wearing glasses if you're blind?
Because I like the look of them.
But
Fair
how
enough.
do you know they look good?
There we go.
We thwarted you.
Yeah. I get feedback. I get critique. I get feedback.
I like the look of them. Something key in there about being blind. Yeah, I think we've lost our place a little bit. But with that,
Look, XL looked quite strong.
They look very, very strong.
Yeah, they look, fairly. It's a close series. They look fairly strong, I guess.
They've pretty much maintained form from winning that last tournament. The reverse sweep against Enclave looked like Enclave brought them very close to the end. They managed to turn around. This was obviously less close, but to be expected from a team that have struggled to make it into the round of 8 before. And for that, I don't think it was the worst second game for them, all things considered.
I think my only disappointment was Rippy didn't actually have any multi-man ultimates. It was always just 1 or 2 people. Well, it's actually always just 1 person. I don't think he ulted 2 people at all.
I'm still glad. I was actually going to say it pre-game, but it's fairly weak that they got the Aatrox Yasuo combo off, because it is somewhat satisfying because it's such a short knockup as well.
It's a real trustful. If you're like spamming R ready for your Aatrox the Land of Knockup, it's a real trustful. Because we thought that 2 weeks ago actually with an Aatrox knockup. No, it was a Rakan knockup. And it was just on all the wrong targets. And the Yasuo just literally went into the tanks, did like 15% of their HP.
It's like old Urgot ultimate.
And the
all
whole
you've done
time,
is CC yourself.
Exactly. And the whole time he's in the air killing the tanks, well, ulting the tanks. The ADC is just like bang, 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 just shooting him.
It's an unfortunate situation when you commit to it. You're like, let's go, and then like, oh, you just watch your character and you're stuck in the middle, and you're like,
I have made a
We're
mistake.
in trouble here. I've done messed up
didn't,
here.
though.
No, I mean, you can't really blame them. Excel did fantastically well there. Barrage had a pretty rough game, unfortunately, for them. And that is just unfortunately how the cookie crumbles. But coming up after the break, we will have Wind and Rain taking on Misfit. So don't go anywhere, because that is a game you do not want to miss. We'll see you shortly.